The Queen of Glitz is throwing a ball. A grand celebration of Africa is set for later this month in New York with a simple mission to raise funds for a worthy cause.
So I decided about 8 years ago to create an initiative that will target and work with empowering youth and young adults on the ground in West Africa.
Africa Everything, an education-focused nonprofit in the US, is helping improve education in West Africa by raising funds from within the diaspora community. But how feasible is this approach?
I'm very about grassroots, community-led, subculture-specific movements. And I think that those are things that really move movements. I don't think it comes from the top or it comes from the side. It has to come from us and from within. When we own what needs to be done, then we do it. Because when everybody's like, oh, let's go to the politician, let's go, they're not doing it. So it's how do we work together and harness ourselves to do what we can do?
Founder and Executive Director of Africa Everything, Aisha Diori, will tell us more about the projects her organization has undertaken so far across West Africa. And it weighs nearly a ton.
It's fast food, so we thought, hey, let's order 2 half portions. And then this behemoth of a meal arrived, and I'm not entirely sure how we're going to eat all of this.
A South African restaurant recently made a sandwich weighing nearly 150 pounds. Does that make your mouth water? Wait till you hear the list of ingredients. I'm Nia Krofi Smatabe. This is the A55 podcast. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the A55 podcast. It's great to reconnect with you. I hope your second half of the year is off to a great start. If not, don't worry. We still have a few months to go, so there's still room for improvement, yes? Oh, and before I forget, let me say a big congratulations to the Hip Life Grandpapa, Reggie Rockstone. Remember, he was our guest on the show sometime last month. Yep, he was honored this past Saturday at the Back to the Future concert in New York. Now, if you've missed out on any of the episodes of this podcast, yes, I'm talking to you. You know who you are. You can always catch up on the show's website, which is www.shows.acast, that's acast.com/A55-podcast. Or, just simply subscribe to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Amazon Music for free and catch up with us, right? Okay, time now for our proverb of the week. It's an Ashanti proverb from Ghana. Here's Gertrude Davison Tete.
By the time a fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed.
Thanks, Gertrude. Can I interest you in attending an African-themed party? What if I told you that the party is to support a worthy cause? Would that be enough to get you to come along? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we all love to, or at least plan to, support charities that focus on issues in our communities that are of interest to us. But sometimes, just sometimes, it's a bit expensive to do that, especially when you have to be invited to attend a gala or event aimed at raising funds for that charity you would like to support. If, like me, you're not a fan of black tie events, then yeah, probably you have to find other ways of supporting that charity. So, one event curator decided to do away with all the formalities associated with supporting charities when she started raising funds for a cause that's near and dear to her heart: education. Aisha Diori is a familiar face and name in the African diaspora community in New York. Known as Glitterati, she is a ball of energy when hosting events and brings a touch of class to events she curates. Coming from a family of educators, Aisha knows the value of education as well as the challenges plaguing the field, especially in West Africa. So, when an opportunity to help a local school in the heart of Ghana's capital, Accra, came her way years ago, she saw an opportunity to follow in her family's footsteps, if you will, to give back to the field of education. For nearly a decade, Aisha has been throwing an African-themed party, the Africa Everything Party, which brings together people from within the African community and beyond to celebrate their African pride, network, and reward outstanding community members while raising money to support education back in West Africa. This year, the event is expanded to include the Caribbean community with a special focus on Haiti, which is embroiled in political turmoil. Aisha Diary joins me in a few with more details about what her organization has been up to over the past year and what they're hoping to do next with the funds raised at this year's event. Aisha, thank you very much for joining us on the A55 podcast. I believe the first time we spoke was about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and we talked about some education-related activity that you were undertaking in Ghana at the time, and we'll get to talk about that in a minute. But I got an email, and reading through the email, I found out that apparently this little thing you've been doing that we spoke about the last time is 8 years old, and I honestly couldn't believe it. Could you just take us back for a minute and tell us how Africa Everything started, or why you even started it in the first place?
Okay, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Nee. So I'm so glad that you're having me back to kind of talk more about Africa Everything and flesh it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you too.
Well, about 8 years ago, I decided, because I'm an event curator, that's my, I've done event directing, curating for over almost 20 years, but I'm only 21. So,
who's counting, really?
Just in case anybody's trying to guess my age on the podcast. Okay. Anyway, so I decided, I know that education is something that's been very important to me as I grew as a person, and as I grew up as, growing up in Nigeria and Ghana, and then coming to the United States, I knew that education was something that was steadfast and something that helped me navigate the world as I am. And realizing that there is a deficit in safe spaces, ways that people are able to get, resources to help in moving their education forward. So I said, how can I create an event that's not just an event to be a party, but a party for a cause, right? Quite simplistically, that's how it started. And me and a couple of creatives got together and decided, let's put something together, and also in doing that, also honor and really celebrate African culture, meaning what you have to wear for the event is all African attire, right? And we make sure that we harness and target African small businesses and Caribbean small businesses. It really has even warped more to be even Afro-Caribbean in a sense, because we're all one people, if you think about it. So I thought to myself, how can I give back? And there were so many facets. I could have done water, which everybody's doing. I could have done resources, but I said something that is going to keep on giving is education, right? Because once you're plugged into education, it keeps on giving. So with that, we decided to just give back to empowering and enriching education-based charities, schools, NGOs in West Africa.
But like you said, you decided to focus on education. Because the next question I was going to ask was, of all the many things going on in Africa that you could focus or shine a spotlight on, why education, and in particular the provision of infrastructure? Because of course you are not there teaching the kids, but you're helping them in terms of infrastructure. Why was that particular focal point so important to you?
I think I got a little bit, I can say that. I can say my grandmother, right? My grandmother from my Nigeria side is a teacher, and then she became a headmistress.
Okay.
So growing up, education has been very important. And my mother was a teacher at one point in her life as well. Now a travel agent, but still, education has been very important in my life. And I thought that, why not do something that can give back? Because the young adults that we educate, or the young kids that we educate today, can then use that education to give back to future generations. So it's something that can always keep on giving and keep on enriching. How do we make sure that we're creating future leaders that can give back and have had safe spaces to learn and had things to do? So I thought about education as the best way. And I just know that having even just the core basic educational building blocks really helps you in navigating the world and moving things around in the world.
And the last time we spoke, which is, like I said, some time back, you were helping renovate, if I'm correct, a school building in Jamestown.
Yes.
My little, I don't like calling it village, because Jamestown is in the capital of Ghana, so it's not a village exactly. But you were helping.
But it's a village. The way that it's not kept up, it's a village, literally in the heart of Accra, where everybody is landing and the diaspora is there and everything. Jamestown still looks like a sleepy fishing
Yeah.
village. And I think that you can still keep the aesthetic of a fishing village, but there's some amenities that could be created. But that's another conversation. But yes, we were renovating in Jamestown. We finished the renovation in
Yeah.
Jamestown, and it's a
And you've expanded now. You have another project in Kumasi as well.
Abidjan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in Ghana we've done Eastern Region, Kumasi. We've done Eastern Region, Kumasi, Accra, as well as Elmina.
Oh wow! So it's even become 4. I only knew of Accra and
Yeah,
Kumasi. I didn't
4.
even know about the Eastern and then Elmina. So for those other 3, what did you do? What did Africa Everything do? Was it still renovating the infrastructure?
All right, cool. For Eastern Region, we renovated the Press BB School. In Eastern Region, we worked with a dancing teacher who was a teacher that went viral dancing with his students. And I noticed in the video, I was like, that school looks like it needs to be renovated. And then I reached out to him and started talking to him. And he started talking about things that were needed and stuff. So the first thing we did was give the kids a little scholarship to get their school supplies and stuff like that. That's how we first started the first year. But then when I went there and visited, I've really noticed that the school was dilapidated and it needed a lot of help. So the next phase was to come back a year and a half later to then renovate the school. So we renovated the school in the Eastern Region. That was Eastern Region. In Kumasi, we renovated a school in Kumasi, Diamond State Academy. The grade block with the elementary school and the pre-Ks and that classroom block has been renovated. We actually want to work on doing, because they have a JHS part. So we're going to help in renovating that as well. And also helping the kids with supplies as well. All of that is all included with the process, not just the renovations. And in Elmina, one that I'm also very proud of is where because my family is from Elmina. We had senior high school students getting ready to go to college write an essay on why they love Ghana and why Africa means everything to them. And from those essays, we had a bunch of essays. Like, we were able to pick 5 students, and each of them got a scholarship to help them go to college. And all of our scholars now are almost in their last year of college.
In Ghana?
In Ghana.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's great. And you've expanded. I don't want to say you are done with Ghana, but you've expanded to Abidjan.
We've done a couple of countries. We've done a couple of countries. We've done Nigeria. We've done Liberia, Senegal, Ghana, and now Abidjan. Côte d'Ivoire.
Okay. So how many projects are you working on in Abidjan?
In Abidjan, we're working on one project now, a renovation of a school in Port Bouet, which is right around the airport area of Abidjan.
So what's the ultimate goal of these projects Africa Everything is undertaking? Because you are renovating schools, you're giving scholarships, you're in at least 5 countries, if I'm correct, at the moment. Yeah. What's the ultimate goal for you and your organization?
The ultimate goal is to try and at least touch most of the countries in West Africa by doing good. But we're going to pivot the renovation process, because I've realized in Africa that if you're not on the ground, it's a lot harder to navigate, right? We do have a full-time representative in Ghana, which is very helpful. But in the other countries, we don't have full-time representatives. So we have to find somebody there to navigate and help us move around. So in Abidjan, we're lucky to find somebody as well. But the overall goal is to really start to, I really think I want to really start empowering youth that elementary to college pipeline, like really harnessing and mentoring some of the youth and young adults to go the whole way and take care of anything that comes up with their process, so that they can also then either give back, even volunteer. In the school in Jamestown, they have a volunteer teacher. He's in college, and he's been there for like 3-4 years, and he watched how Africa Everything has transformed the space and everything, and he just actually reached out to me because he needs to finish his last 2 semesters, right? And I said, well, he's been so helpful in being there for the kids and everything. Maybe it's something we can look into, helping him finish off so that he can come and be really a full-time teacher in that space, right? In Jamestown, because there's not a lot of great spaces there for kids to learn. So it's just so it's kind of full circle. I just think that our main goal is to make sure that we're enriching and creating safe spaces for youth and young adults.
That's great. And your approach to doing all this for me is what I find fascinating. Typically, Africa is considered to depend on handouts, from charitable organizations, especially in the West. And even when people in Africa found their own NGOs and whatnot, still some tend to depend on donations also from, partner organizations around the world. But in your case, you're doing it like a grassroots type of movement with your Africa Everything Party, as you said. So it's like come chip in, have a good time, but then also it's having a good time with a purpose. Why did you decide to go with this strategy instead of saying, okay, this is a 501 or 502 charitable organization, give me donations or whatever and let me do this project?
So I first started off where we're not a 501c3, but we're a 501c3 now. We're also registered in Ghana as an NGO. So we've done that because we noticed that we needed to do that, right? Because for people to, take you seriously and be accredited. But the reason I decided to do that, because I wanted the community to step up on their own, like let them step up and let it not be where you have to pay $1,000 for a table to attend an event where you're giving back. Just come, enjoy yourself. But what you pay to enjoy yourself is going to be used right away towards helping empower these education institutions on the ground. So I think that I'm very about grassroots, community-led, subculture-specific movements. And I think that those are things that really move movements. I don't think it comes from the top or it comes from the side. It has to come from us and from within. When we own what needs to be done, then we do it. Because when everybody's like, oh, let's go to the politician, let's go, they're not doing it. So it's how do we work together and harness ourselves to do what we can do? Because even if we impact one person need,
that's true,
we've impacted a lot.
Yeah. And so for over these 8 years that you've been doing this grassroots mobilization, what feedback have you gotten from, some of the businesses, for instance, that show up and some of the, everyday people who probably have become regulars at the annual Africa Everything event?
I get such great feedback, and I've really got to even partner with organizations that I probably wouldn't have partnered with that have seen the work that we're doing and are interested in helping and in also empowering, because part of our other piece of our mission is also bringing the diaspora together here in the United States, right? So bridging that diaspora so that we can take them back home where they can be a part of movements back home. So it's been we've gotten such great feedback. We've actually gotten 2 proclamations from Kevin Parker in Brooklyn for the work that we've done. We've partnered with the New York Theater Workshop, the Lincoln Center, Barclay Center, Harlem Fine Arts Festival. Like literally with the work we're doing and bringing the diaspora together, we really are like working together across so many boards. We've worked with other nonprofits that are on the ground in Africa to do feeding programs in December or things like that. So I think it's the spirit of partnership and the spirit of empowerment, and the feedback has been great. A lot of people are involved in it. A lot of people are here for it. And I love it. I think, of course, we always want to get more. We always want to do more. But whatever we do get, 100% of it goes back to doing the work on the ground. So that's something that we have no staff. Everybody's volunteer based. Right now. So literally we're doing everything bootstraps and, boots off the ground to get things going and get things moving. So it's always very exciting. And we've also partnered with an organization called Free 99, which is a FIRE. They do a tech conference in Ghana where they empower and do a pitch competition for young people interested in tech. And we were able to work with them and help them curate a festival on the ground last year called Ghana to the Moon. So that was exciting as well. So as we're doing this work, we're meeting new people, we're meeting new organizations, and we are also building together because we know one organization can't do everything. But I think the spirit of togetherness, because I think a lot of stuff that happens in Africa, we are in silos, and we have to understand that we are stronger together and we build together further than us just being in our one corner doing what we want to do,
Yeah. So finally on July 28th is when the next Africa Everything Afro Chic event happens in New York. Do you have a set target amount that you want to raise at that event?
Yeah. I think knock on wood, I would love for us to raise $20,000, and it's little. It's not even a lot. Like I said, it takes not that much to to do the work that we're doing. Of course, I would love to get more, but I'm going to be realistic because we're a small organization and it's grassroots, right? So $20,000, and that will really help in fostering and continuing the work we're doing in Ivory Coast, and then moving on to our next project. So that's basically the cap, the goal for us for this year. We want to do more, of course, and do more events. So just raising that amount will help in fostering what we're doing. And it's so funny, like when I see a lot of people raising millions and millions of dollars, and then we still go back to Africa and that well is not working yet, or that food program is a dusty room. So what is happening to that money? Because if with $5,000 or $10,000 we can impact a school, why are we not seeing more of what needs to be seen? That's what I feel sometimes. That's why I wanted to even start my own, because I'm like, what are they doing with the money?
Good question.
It's my question. What are you doing with the money? Because, is it only one well you build for the $1 million you raised?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know,
Okay. So what should those attending expect? Because it is a party as well. I mean, it's a fundraiser, but it's a party, and there will be, I guess, businesses selling as well. So, I mean, what should we look forward to?
Yeah. Look for our specially curated small vendor market. I only work with the best of the best vendors that really speak to the mission and vision of Africa Everything. So that's always very exciting. They have unique products that you might not find everywhere. And you're going to see some unveiling of carnival costumes which is going to come out for Labor Day, for the Labor Day parade. And this year we're going to be really amplifying Haiti, because what's going on in Haiti is not really getting enough buzz. So I want to make sure that we amplify Haiti. We have one of our hosts is Haitian. We have a fashion show. One of our fashion designers is Haitian, Lola. We have, like I said, the costume is a Haitian designer as well, Eve. And we just want to make sure that we are really shining a light there, because where Afro-Caribbean, Haiti was one of the first countries to get its freedom, period, right? So it's really always good to make sure that we need to know what's going on, to know how moving ahead. You're going to see fashion. You're going to see performances. We have wonderful performances by Dolly Peets, Connell Sachs, Ayo Motion. We're going to have fashion from urban African kind of designers, I would say. They're doing more of the fresher looks for Africa. So we're going to have that, young African designers showing their stuff, and Caribbean designers showing their stuff. There's food. So it's a whole movement. And then after that is some of the top DJs are there that are going to spin the best music. So, and we're having an award ceremony. We're going to be giving an award to certain individuals that have been outstanding in the community. One of our awardees is the ambassador of Cote d'Ivoire, and it's Kamara. So he will be there to get his award. We have MLK, two-time Emmy Award winner. Literally, like it's quite a few. Emil Escalade, who's the executive director of Free 99. And a host of other people that are going to get awards. So it's going to be that. So that's going to be, it's a full day.
And a lot of activities. So probably the best advice to anyone attending is dress comfortably, because we want dress comfortably, but make sure you're dressed. Comfortably in terms of your footwear is what I mean.
Accessories. Yeah. Oh, footwear. Oh, yes. Please be comfortable for your foot. But if you want to be a diva, put on your heels. I love it too. I love that too. Yes, it's from 4. Okay. It's from 4. We're going from 4 to 10. So it's a full day. And if you don't want to miss anything, get me on time.
Well, we hear you. Aisha Jerry, thank you very much for your time with us today.
Thank you so much, Mia. I'll be back soon. Talk to you later.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So if you're in New York or within the tri-state area and want to attend the Africa Everything Afro Chic party, we've put a link in our show notes for you to be able to get tickets. And to find out more about Africa Everything and how to support them, there's a link to their website also in the show notes. Now, have you ever been so hungry that you've thought, I could eat a whale? Well, forget the whale. I just discovered a South African food that would knock you out if you manage to eat it all by yourself. Before you go is next. And before you go, we all love fast food. I mean, we're told that too much of it can be bad for our health, but admit it, when has that ever stopped us, huh? Annie's Ladies Bar in Cape Town, South Africa, recently attempted a bold remake of one of the classic submarine sandwiches from the area called The Gatsby. Yes, you heard it right. Named apparently after the movie The Great Gatsby, the Gatsby sub is a multi-layered sandwich that usually comprises what they call slap chips, that's basically French fries, and meat in a thick bread roll that's often big enough to feed multiple people. The sandwich goes back to the mid-1970s Cape Town, where it was a preferred meal for blue-collar workers, like those who work in manufacturing, mining, etc., because it was big enough for them to cut it up and share. The Gatsby is such a Cape Town staple that there are vlogs about it on YouTube.
So today we're in Cape Town and we wanted to try the Gatsby. This is a dish that apparently originated in the Cape Flats.
The meal was recently added to the menu at Annie's Ladies Bar, and as the buzz around it built up, the owners decided, in what probably might have sounded like a dumb idea to someone at the time, mostly me, to make, quote, the biggest Gatsby in South Africa. Joe Redlingus, whose wife Annie owns the bar, told the Associated Press that it took over 4 hours and about $160 worth of ingredients to make the giant sandwich. So let's break it down. The first major challenge they had to overcome was to find a bread roll big enough to build the sandwich of Joe's dreams. So what did they do? He had 3 1-meter long or 3-foot long rolls specially baked and joined together. Now to the fillings. 3 kilograms or 6.6 pounds of tomatoes, about 20 kilograms or 44 pounds of meat, from sliced sausage to steak to burger patties and chicken, 22 pounds or 10 kilograms of French fries spread out in 3 layers to break up the meat, a layer of calamari for those who love seafood, and some onion rings on top. They also had sauces ranging from garlic to cheese, pepper, mushroom, and tartar sauce, depending on the layer. Altogether, there were no less than 10 layers of fillings for the sandwich, which weighed, wanna guess, 65.27 kilograms or 145 pounds. Now, if that doesn't make you hungry, I don't know what to tell you. Joe apparently reached out to South African record officials who are in the process of determining if his giant sub is indeed the biggest Gatsby ever made in the land. But no matter what, it's not likely to beat the record for the biggest sandwich in the world. That Guinness World Record is held by an establishment in Michigan in the US, which built a staggering 2,467 kilogram or 5,440 pound sandwich in 2005. And if you're hoping to get a bite out of that great giant Gatsby, forget it, it's long gone. Joe told the AP that it fed about 140 people. He said, "We invited a lot of our regular clients to come and eat the sandwich, and they invited friends, and their friends invited friends." Question: where were all my friends in South Africa when this was happening? I mean, why didn't I get an invite? Well, that's all we have for you today. A big thanks to Aisha Diari for joining us today. Thanks, as always, to my producer, Gertrude Davison Tete, and to Bright Dra, our social media coordinator. Our theme music is Sunshine Blues by Copy Spikey. And don't forget to rate our show and tell a friend to tell a friend about our show. I'm Nia Krofi Smatabe. Have a great weekend. Let's do this again soon.